Hey, I want to have a discussion about custom knives and production knives and what your thoughts are on owning either of them or both of them. So let's get into this. Alright, so the recent announcement, I think it was just today, if you're watching this video tomorrow, this is today, so about Cold Steel's 2019 upcoming knife selection is brought on this discussion with me and a friend of mine. And just to give you a little history, and this is not to do with just the Demko knives and the Cold Steel knives that are coming out because of them, but I want to talk about custom knives in general, and I'm just going to use this as an example, and you can talk about your own custom knives or use your own experiences with different makers as your starting point. My starting point is with the Demkos. That's where a ton of my collecting money has gone over the last couple of years, and it's where a lot of my desire for knives comes from, is from the Cold Steel collection, from that triad lock, and of course from Demko, the Demko knives themselves. So just a quick rundown. The first big time grail knife I ever had in my collecting was the 4MAX, and that is the production 4MAX. And the first video I ever made, knife video I ever made, was on the production 4MAX. So that is a really cool knife for me, and I still love it, and I still buy them every once in a while. I haven't bought one in a few months, but if I find a good deal, I cannot stop myself. So then later, I was able, much later, I was able to get the Demko custom 4MAX. See if I can get that on here without blinding y'all with the backlight. So I was able to get that, and just a super grail knife for me. Just became a huge grail. One of those knives I never thought I'd get. And then I got into, this is my first actual custom Demko. This is the AD15. Actual custom AD15. I think this is 3V steel. I think that's XHP if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so what I'm going to talk about is how important is a custom to you? How important is the custom to your collecting? So, like for me, this custom 4MAX, or this production 4MAX, kind of pushed me into wanting this 4MAX. So, having this out in the real world didn't stop me from wanting to get this one. And today I was having a discussion with different people and talking about, well, the Demko's dropping this on everybody. How does it affect the people that have spent thousands of dollars on their knives? Does the production AD10, does the production AD15 cut into the value of these knives that you have? So that's what I'm talking about. As far as the 4MAX goes, it worked the opposite for me. Having this in hand just made me want to have one of these even more. But I'm asking you is, if this was the only one out for a long time, say this is the 4MAX, now this one came out, what do you think? These knives are not the same exact knives, but as far as what they can do, as far as quality, it's very close. These are both very quality knives, very well put together, excellent top of the line kind of steel, titanium liners, titanium backspacers, stuff like that. Still have that triad Demko lock in both of them. Both fantastic knives. Both are going to get you out of the jungle alive kind of thing. If you had to choose, if you were on a journey, say this one doesn't exist, and you were on a journey to get this, and let's say it was $1,500, and so you're saving up your money, then boom, they dropped this one, 2016. Do you stop going after this one now? Is this enough to scratch that itch for that 4MAX type knife? Which they're both very 4MAXy, of course, just awesome knives. Does this one stop it? So that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking, because I wanted to know, let's say this is one of your goals, the AD10, the plus P AD10. You're going to spend $1,400 to get one of these. Now, I don't want any judgment calls on $1,400 knives. That's not what this is here about. I'm not talking about, well, I'd never spend $1,400 on a knife. That's not the kind of comments I'm looking for. I'm looking for, if you were looking at this, if this was your goal knife right here, and you got your penny saved, and you got your penny saved, and you're getting there, now all of a sudden, boom, they've dropped that production AD10. Is this, because there wasn't a production AD10 before, is this now not something you're after? Have you stopped that goal of getting the AD10 type knife because they have the production AD10 and S35VN, which is an awesome steel? So they have the AD10 production S35VN. I think the liners may be a little bit different. I don't know if they're stainless or aluminum. So there's some subtle differences, but as far as usability, it's not going to change. You're not getting this because it's light in the pocket. So the little changes aren't going to matter a whole lot, especially for strength and for what you want to do with this knife. Do you stop? Do you stop at the whatever it's going to be, $200 that you're looking at paying for an AD10 now? Does that scratch that itch? Have you stopped your will to grab the AD10? For example, I mean, here's the recent example. This knife, I think, is around $1,000. I think the AD15s were $1,000, right? $975 or something like that. I didn't pay that for this, but I got a good deal on this. Man, it's a great knife. So you take the 3V, but then, now this is Demko's Demko, so we're not going to talk about the specific knife, but then the MG AD15s came out, almost the same exact knife. They just don't have that back lock, which a lot of people didn't like in the first place. So now you have the same titanium, you have S35VN, so you have and a little bit of texturing in the grip there. Did that stop you from getting this? I think a lot of people stopped getting this to get that, but now you're looking at being able to get something with the same steel as the MG AD15. Now they changed out the yoke. I think the yoke is going to be aluminum, or I think that's going to be, and you're going to be looking at $200 instead of $675 at the brand new price. Do you want the MG AD15 that bad? I mean, the people that have the MG AD15s, do you think that they're now kind of screwed over as far as being able to get rid of those on the secondary market? I didn't get my Demkos as an investment, but, you know, suppose that you did. Suppose it's not Demko. Just think about, you know, whatever, Brian Ty. Think about Ramon Chavez. Think about all those guys. You have one of their knives that come out with production. Like the Chavez, he didn't come out with the same knife with the Ultramar. He came out with something a little bit smaller. So the guys with the Redenciones and all those are not really hurting that bad. But the people that may have invested in the Demkos, I mean, how is that going to affect them? What do you think? Do you think now all of a sudden, instead of, let's say, I went out on the secondary market with this and was trying to get, you know, $1,100, $1,200, am I now going to get $6,000 or $7,000 because of the cold steel version of this? Because there's a cold steel AD10 out there. Now there isn't a textured titanium AD10 with sweet shipwreck anodizing or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, am I going to miss out on the resale value? Do you think that that's what's going to happen? Have you seen it happen with a different knife? I don't know everything about custom knives. I don't know what's happened in the past, and this is just a kind of an inquiry for me. I'm not coming at this from a know-it-all perspective. I'm coming at this from, what do y'all think? And that's genuine. Because I know there are a couple people that might be worried about this, and I'm one of them. I don't want to see the value of my collection cut in half, but I don't want to see the reason for me getting something cut in half. And so much of getting into custom knives, especially when you just focus in on one maker like I have, is a part of it is that relationship. You kind of feel like, yeah, you know, I got a guy who makes knives, and that's part of it. And I think that some people might feel that that's been overlooked in this situation, to the point where I don't know. What do y'all think? It's kind of a weird thing to all of a sudden the feeling that you get from having a special thing has now just been diminished. It's been diminished buy a production knife. How much do you think it's going to diminish the, I don't, it's kind of weird. It sounds like you're talking about a wife or something, but how much is it going to diminish that special thing you have with these knives? If now all of a sudden on Facebook or Instagram, you're seeing something that looks like this pop up 100 times a day instead of, 10 times a week or something. How does that change? Once again, not coming at it from any kind of certain perspective. I don't want to seem like I'm trashing what's going on with Cold Steel and their knives, because I'll tell you what, I'm going to be the first in line to get one. I'm going to buy probably doubles of each just because that's the way I am. And I'm not going to get rid of my Demkos, obviously. And I'm not going to stop getting the Demkos. But I just want to know what you all thought about that. And don't apply it just directly to Demkos. Apply it to whatever customs you may have seen come out, because I don't know everything about all of these. I don't know about the various custom makers. I only know a couple of them. And definitely this is the only one that I have any kind of relationship with that has also a big time production knife coming out. So, I'm going to just recap the Formax production. And now that I think about that, the Formax production is what led me to the Demko Formax. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen. I wonder if the AD10s in hand are going to make people want something a little. And this even had 20 CV. This is a way better version of this Formax than the AD10s will be of the version of the AD10s that are out there. So I'm wondering if people are going to get that thing in hand, because I'll tell you what, in hand, the AD10 is awesome. Just like the Formax, it's just a little bit less. Oh gosh, oh man, the arm. I'll tell you about that later. But the AD10s, just a great knife. And don't let anything stop you from getting one if that's what you've been looking forward to getting. Great knife coming out. Like I said, I'm going to get a couple of them. But how do you feel? Is that AD10 going to lead you to something where you want something extra? Have you ever done that? Have you ever had, the Brian Ty? I tell you what, the Brian Ty raid has led me to checking out his knives. And I checked him out at Blade Show last year, and it was right there on the edge of getting one. So, I don't know. Maybe it works in reverse. Maybe that's what maybe the production ones will actually lead people to want these more. I wouldn't have known about the Demko Formax if I hadn't picked up the Cold Steel Formax. And having that just fell in love with the Demko type knife, and actually led me to the AD10s, and actually led me to the AD15s and the MG AD15s, and to stealing Demko's knife at Blade Show. All those things. Look at that. All right, so enough of that. I just want to know what y'all think. I know it's kind of a weird video, but the drop of this Cold Steel production stuff on the Demkos, the AD10s, the AD15s, just made me curious. I was talking to Buddy, and he was a bit worried about it. Didn't want him to worry about it. But I would like to know what the general populace thinks, not just what I think, because I have some weird views on knives. I think I should have all the Formaxes. All the Formax. I'm like Mel Gibson in Conspiracy Theory. I see one, I have to have it just to feel normal again. So don't base your thoughts on what I'm thinking. What do you think? What is your personal experience with the customs and versus a production run? Have you ever been like I have? Were you ever coaxed in reverse, or were you coaxed custom first, go to production? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Seriously, don't be stupid, please. Don't leave you dumb idiot or people that buy knives like this are idiots and nothing like that, because I'm not going to put up with that. I'm not here to insult other people, and I don't want to have them insulted either by you. But if you have something constructive and productive, I have another active, conductive. That doesn't work. Put it down there, because I really want to know what you think. Like and subscribe. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please get down there, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button just once so you don't unsubscribe accidentally. And if you want to answer this in private, hit my email. I will talk to you later.